your podcast, Sex Talk with Lou.
Ah,
How's that going?
it's going, the one on TogiNet. Yes, the one
Yeah.
that I interviewed you on.
Yes.
It's going really well. I mean, I'm now into my second year with it.
Nice.
And what I do is I, find the people who I want, who I know are cutting edge of what's going on, who are part of a trend, something that is very topical. So when 50 Shades of Grey came out, I got asked to work on two particular projects. And one of them was to write an insert for a series of products, and the other was to do a follow-up for a group that has a very high-end group of hotels. And I have a buying and merchandising degree from Fashion Institute in New York. So I look at things from a standpoint of how merchandising should be done and how marketing should be done. And it's just something like, when you walk into a store that's well merchandised,
Yes.
you're just like this.
Someone did
That
their
is so
homework.
smart.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And what I do know, in the area for 50 Shades of Grey, to me, I'm looking at this series of books, this trilogy, as being like a tipping point for a lot of people in the area of expanding what they might like to think about, might like to try. And it's been delivered in a way like anything else. So it's not them, but it's an idea. It's kind of like a buffet that they might like to order something from.
Right.
Okay? Now,
They can just peruse.
right, and here's and anyone who tells me, now I did a presentation also with Sport Sheets at the International Lingerie Show in Las Vegas. And what Tom Stewart, who started Sport Sheets, said, he wanted to look at catching the wave, all of the things, because in the area, because Sport Sheet has a line called Sex and Mischief, which is truly one of the best vanilla kink lines going. They are phenomenal.
So if you look into that.
Phenomenal. And they have targeted, they already had this years ago, but what they've done is they of course expanded it and sort of like tweaked it a little bit to market to the 50 Shades customer. Now what is happening is people are coming into stores, women would be going into stores, and they were looking for exactly what was used in the books.
Right.
Now I'll tell you, in 1,625 pages, there really aren't that many toys that are used. He only uses a vibrator once on her, and it was not used to orgasm. He
Well, that's
just,
just me.
it was orgasm with hold. But there's only one time that an anal toy is used. There's no whips that are used. There is a belt that is used, but the whole thing is things aren't named by product. So people will go into the stores and they'll go, I want something like blah 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 blah.
Right.
But what was happening is there's a lot of people who think they know everything about 50 Shades of Grey, and I had the same attitude. Okay, I've written books. I talk about this all day long. Why do I have to read these books?
Right.
What is the purpose of me reading these books? And then I went, Lou, don't be an ass.
Read the
Read the books. If it has become like this cultural thing in this area, it behooves you to know what they're looking at.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, I got asked to come in and do presentations for two groups who are producing TV things and movie things. And what they asked is they asked me to come in and talk about stuff relative to the phenomenon of 50 Shades of Grey and how it's impacting and what might be, and my thoughts on it. So I sit there with these two high, top level female executives, and I asked them, so what did you think of the books? Their comment? We didn't read them. And I looked at them, trying not to do this. I looked at them and I said, ladies, how can you possibly be the development exec and be the person who's doing stuff for digital and you don't even know what people are thinking? You don't even know what they've read.
Right.
I said, you have a responsibility to know what they're reading. You can't create into this if you don't know what they're doing.
So in terms of 50 Shades as a trend,
Right.
where are you seeing this?
Where am I seeing what it's doing?
I mean, you're seeing it as a tipping point. What do you think's on the other side?
Oh, that's obvious. Here's the other thing that people don't add into it, as a trendsetter. We have a real change in social and cultural phenomena called women are making a lot more money.
Yes.
And when you control the wallet, let me tell you, lamb chop, you control a lot.
Yep.
So we have this, now really what 50 Shades of Grey is a love story. It's a love story with two people who have no no idea how to be in a relationship. None. They're both total thunderbolts, you know? And yet they both fall madly in love. And they want to do everything they can to be with this person.
Right.
But it is like a classic Harlequin romance meets vanilla kink.
Right.
And they bumble along and you only get it from, you know, Anastasia's standpoint. But when you get to the final chapter in 50 Shades Free, you get a real treat. You get Christian's side of it, which a lot of people don't get to. Now, I'll also tell you, when I look at those books, there's really two different groups who are talking about it or you know, having their say, should we say, on blogs and wherever. One of them are the women who are over 30 who are going, this is kind of interesting. This might be fun. I'd like to try that. And the reason is that she's the one who's in the driver's seat. Then there are, and this is Megan Andalou was doing the presentation with me for Sports Sheets at International Lingerie, and she said one of the things that for a lot of the college students, they hate them. And the reason they hate them is two reasons. One, they think that it is not healthy representation of BDSM. And I said, okay, why would they say that? And she said, well, they say that she's being forced to do things and he's dominating her and forcing her to do all these things. And I said, you know something, Megan, I'm going to tell you right now, they didn't read those books properly. Because she is the one who initiates. She's the one who says, punish me. She's the one who initiates almost every single thing. They never really have a true scene. They have her saying, I'd like to try this, I'd like to go into the playroom, or I'd like to do this. And so them saying that this isn't healthy BDSM, they didn't read the books.
Or they don't know what healthy BDSM is.
Right.
Thank you. That's right. Or dot, the ellipse, they don't know the next section.
Or they,
Right. And then the other reason they don't like it is because their mothers and grandmothers like it. Can't like what they like.
Sure.
Right.
I can understand.
Rebel.
Yeah.
I can
Right.
understand
Right.
that.
So when I look at it, I look at this man who is kind of, in large part, the ideal boyfriend. Aside from this little twist, you know, that he doesn't know how to be in a relationship. But he'll do anything he can
right.
to, and so he has no idea how not to be ridiculously jealous. He doesn't know about all of the emotional breaks to put on. But I also love the fact that they're into food. Total foodies. Have you seen all the food that's in there?
No.
Oh my God. They cook all the time, and you know, they go out for food all the time. And being in California, what's the #1 wine that's ordered in California all the time? Chardonnay. There is not one glass of Chardonnay that's poured in that entire book. Not one. There's Pinot Grigio, there's Sancerre, there's all of these other ones, you know, Sauvignon Blanc, none. There is no Chardonnay. I was quite impressed by that. Now, and he also has very good, I'm a foodie, he has excellent champagne opening technique. I'll tell you, that's something.
Maybe he can learn other techniques.
I'll tell you, that's something, because most people get poof and they pump it.
No.
Oh my God, you lose all of that fabulous effervescence. What you do is you do a slight twist while holding.
You and I
And there's,
know.
yeah, so when you,
She's watched me do it.
yeah, so, I mean, I was so impressed with that. I was like, oh, Jack. Also, as you know, she likes music. They're both into music. So the CD for the music has already been out since August. Right. But what I see with 50 Shades is that in the same way that Sex and the City had women be able to talk about this and be able to identify what that could be me, I'm partly that character. Well, today I'm Charlotte, but tomorrow I'm so-and-so. And I never watched Sex and the City. But what they also had is there was the one scene in Sex and the City where Charlotte they had to interrupt her dating her vibrator. Remember this? They had to do an intervention. I'd never seen it until I was at the International Lingerie and they had the clip, and I was like this. You know, I've never seen this one. Because I never watched the show.
Yeah.
But they show, you know, the two of them coming and going, this, no, and you're coming out. That scene had the rabbit pearl go through the ceiling from a sales and from a marketing standpoint. So what has happened in a business standpoint, 50 Shades has impacted almost every single area for different vibes, in the area of lingerie, in the area of soft restraint. And so what it's done is it's had people look at the power exchange thing and having the woman be, I think I'd like to try this. But it's also, you know, they sort of bumble along. He has a, you know, better idea. But it's also having people go in and explore something they wouldn't have done before.
Right.
And I think it's, I think it's kind of an absurd term to call it mommy porn. It's not. I mean,
Yeah, I really didn't like that
you know, and then someone has to say something stupid like that.
version of that.
They have to say dumb things like that and then repeat
The
themselves.
soccer mom porn.
Oh, please.
Really?
You know? I mean, come on, you can do better. You consider yourself a journalist? Try again. So anyways, that's what I see it as
Okay.
that. I see it as the tipping point for how people want. I mean, in college campuses, there's lots of kink clubs now.
Mm-hmm.
They're very common. As a matter of fact, it's kind of like very common.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so it's something that 10 years ago wasn't there. And to the extent that it is now.
Mhm.
So it's more the play, the changing, but it's like expanding the horizon for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're even seeing, at least locally, and I have to assume it's happening nationally, we're actually seeing a lot of younger people attempting to join into SM and leather communities.
Mhm.
I think many years ago, you saw mostly over 35.
Mhm.
And it made sense because these were people who
And try things.
had tried things, they knew about their sexuality, or were done doing just the regular vanilla
Mhm.
thing, and now were decided, you know what, I'm not putting up with that anymore, and I'm going to really do what I want in
Right.
my life.
Right.
And you can make those decisions after a certain age, but I think what
And
we are
experiences,
seeing,
right.
what we
Right.
are seeing is this developmental trend where 17, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds, under 24-year-olds are realizing their sexual selves much earlier and much more knowledgeably
Mm-hmm.
than
But
I
they
think
also-
we did at that time period.
But they also
in our
have
lives.
had so much more exposure to things.
Mhm.
Now, and here's the other thing, sometimes they will say, there isn't good, you know, they don't take her down after any of the play or anything like that. Yes, he does. Almost every single time when there's been something really intense, the final close of that scene is him holding her or doing something or, you know, rubbing or doing something, the attentive care. So I just, when people, and I said this to the people, you know, who are running the stores and the main purchasers, I said, listen, if you haven't read these books, you have no business making these comments to people. I said, they're coming in here and they are, it's part of your responsibility. They're relying on you to know. You gotta know. Period.
I agree.